Hey guys, I'm Ben from Pumpcast, and today I'm going to make a tier list on the new meta we got right now. I'm going to cover a lot of decks. We're talking about Snake Eye, about Pearly, about Voiceless Voice, about everything you can imagine, even those decks that aren't that viable anymore. And I hope you enjoyed. If you think that I left out a pretty good deck, please tell me in the comments, and let's hop right into it. So the first one is ABC. This is just, you can just leave it right there. If you interact with the normal summon of the deck and you maybe bounce like the normal summon or banish it, then they pretty much have nothing on their board. If you like if you destroy the field spell they're activating, then they also cannot do anything about it. They just look at you and say pass. And yeah, I think it's you shouldn't play this at a local or at a regional or whenever. Yeah, then we got Thunderies. I actually think because this is pretty much around here, like it's definitely viable. It's tier 2. You can play Shifter. If you're good at it, you can definitely top like a YCS with this. So it's has really good place over here. Then we got Runic. Runic is maybe like not Runic, this is Goatee. I think it's over here like challenging Rogue. If you're really good at it, maybe with a Runic engine, then you can definitely like top a regional or an OTS championship, but I think it's not the best. So yeah. Then we got Unchained. I actually think that Unchained is definitely on the top of tier 2, especially with the new Nightmare Throne and the Dark Beckoning Beast. This can actually do some insane combos. If you want, watch on my last video, I showed some of these combos. This deck can actually do a lot with only one Shavara, but yeah. Then we got a Red Raptor. This actually, some people played it and then it got like maybe a top or like 2 tops, I don't know, and then suddenly everyone stopped. So I don't think this is the best deck. It just does a lot of combos, and if you interrupt it like twice, then they probably most of the time can't do anything about it, and you're just going to imperm their Xyz, also the Raider's Knight. Yeah, it doesn't do a lot. Then we got Melodious from Legacy of Destruction, the new support. I actually think this is somewhere around here. It's definitely viable. Maybe it is even better because in a hand trap full of in a format full of hand traps, this deck performs really well because this deck doesn't really have any choke points. It doesn't lose to Draw, it doesn't lose to Nibiru, it doesn't lose to Ash because most of the time you have more than one starter. Yeah. Then we got Dark World. I actually think this is maybe around here. It can be pretty good if you don't interrupt it, but if you have like 2 or 3 interruptions, or maybe like the Draw or the Dimension Shifter, then this deck does nothing. Then we got this deck. I think if you play with Labyrinth, this deck can really be good, the Red Dragon Archfiend deck, because it actually combos really well, because they're all saying like, okay, I want to search a Fiend, and then like you can search Arias or whatever, and not Arias, Ariane. So I think this can be pretty good, but if you play it pure, then it's not that good. Then about the Punda Dragons, I actually think if you play this deck pure, it is really bad. Maybe you can put an engine into Light Swan or somewhere, but actually you most of the time put like 1 raw and 2 dark and 1, I think, what is it called, a Hawk, and then you pretty much want to search the Hawk and then resummon 1 and then go into Colossus. But if you mill the Hawk in like Light Swan, then you're pretty much doing nothing because you don't have anything to summon back your Thunder Dragon monsters, and you didn't activate an effect in the hand. So yeah, I don't think this is a good call right now. Then we got Light Swan. Light Swan, I would probably put it like at the bottom of tier 2, maybe around Rogue, because I don't think the best variant has been found right now. Because you can play it as a 60 card deck, you can play 40 cards, you can play it pure, you can play it with Bestial, with Horus, with Thunder Dragon, as I said, also with Runic. You can play so many different variations. That's why I don't think this is that bad, the deck, but I also don't think it's like tier 1 or better. Then we got Memento. Memento with the new support from Infinite Forbidden will definitely be at least tier 2. But I think right now it's probably top of play at home. You You cannot win at the locals with this, so yeah, don't do it. Then we got Shining Sarcophagus. This is also not the best. The win condition of this is pretty much resolving your Gandora to wipe the whole board and then attacking, but you probably most of the time cannot OTK then. And the going first board is pretty much like 3 interruptions, and most decks can play through these, so I wouldn't recommend this deck. Then we got Ragnar Riker. I think this maybe soonish will be found and some will play a viable variant, but I think right now it's just don't play it, because they lock you into insects, reptiles, and you can actually do like a pretty good combo with like the Octoedic archetype together, but I don't think it's that viable right now. Then we got Ashen. Ashen is probably around here, maybe it's even lower, but I don't think right now, because it only does like a super poly on your opponent's turn, and you really have to have the Awakening of the Ashen or like a 2-card combo, and I don't think this is viable right now. And also going second, the only thing this deck can do good is maybe like drawing super poly, and that's really unlikely even if you play 3. Yeah, so then we got Ancient Gear. This is also around here. This is just worse than Punda Dragons. Its only goal is to OTK on your opponent on your second turn. You don't have anything you can do on the first turn, and that's why I wouldn't put this like above anything than this category. Then we got Goblin Rider. Goblin Rider is just even worse, puts an Xyz on the board, and if you happen to out the Xyz or maybe don't let them get to it, they just can't extend any further, so I wouldn't play this a lot. Then we got Measure Spectre. This, even with the Kirin, it really doesn't do a lot, so I will just put it right here. It's probably one of the worst decks right here. And Valmonica also doesn't do anything with the new support. Then we got Sword Soul. I see this being more rogue-ish and definitely getting some wins on like regionals and OTS championships, but without the Baron it definitely got worse, so I'll just put it on the bottom of rogue. Then we got Vanquish Soul. Vanquish Soul is definitely a rogue deck, can play shifter, and if you're really managing your resources really well and know how to get the attributes, the different attributes to your hand, this deck can definitely do a lot, but it takes a good pilot, so yeah. Then we got Tillaments. Tillaments I would say is like around Light Swan. You can combine these archetypes, and I guess they're pretty much doing almost the same like milling, and this is pretty much synchro and exeasing, and this is pretty much only fusion summoning. But the problem with Tillaments is that it's really inconsistent right now, and it didn't see a lot of tops right in the past few days, so yeah, I think it's fine right here. Then we got Heroes. Heroes is, in my perception, like around here. I do think that this is a challenging deck, and you can definitely get wins with the insta-win conditions in Plasma and the Dark Angel, but I think it's really vulnerable to interruptions, and yeah, you really have to know what you're doing. Then we got Runic. Runic is probably around here, maybe at the bottom over Sword Soul definitely, but yeah, I didn't see it the last few months, and I don't think it does really is really the best deck, so yeah. Then we got Illusion. Illusion is pretty much, I think, Rogue 2. It's maybe slightly better, maybe this, yeah, like this maybe. And Illusion, those two archetypes, I don't think these are viable right now. I think we definitely have to wait for the next set to look at the Illusion cards again, but right now I think they're just not doing enough. Even if you combine Chimera with Branded, it's just not doing enough. Then we got Sky Striker. Sky Striker is probably around here as well, slightly below Runic with the free engage. And we also got the Orcust. This actually topped the Orcust Sky Striker deck, so I guess it's pretty good. Then we got Marinces. I'd say Marinces pretty much around here, slightly better than Runic, I guess, but also not the best deck. You definitely have to know the deck. Then we got Volcanic. This is an FTK deck. I guess this deck can definitely do something, but you really have to know what you're doing, and this deck really gets hurt if you interrupt like the Inari Fire or like the cards that really do the burn damage. So if you're not getting to your trap, then it's really hard to OTK to FTK your opponent. So I guess it's okay-ish, but maybe it's better than Goatee. But yeah, then we got Samangrad. You've all waited for this. I guess it's like rogue, especially with the new fire support, the Promethean Princess, and especially with like Heater being really good into the fire matchups. This can definitely do something against the meta. I guess it's I don't know if this is the right place, but it's a good deck, and you can definitely get some wins at locals. Then we got Sprite. I wouldn't say it's a play-at-home deck, but it's definitely not the best. It didn't get any tops in the last 2 months, so I think this is the right place for it. Then we got Yugioh. Yugioh is probably around here, over here, maybe like slightly worse than Unchained. I do think that Unchained is better right now than Yugioh, because it's just Yugioh does play too many bricks and play too many monsters that don't do anything. I mean, Unchained plays a lot of bricks too, but especially with the Nightmare Throne, with the Dark Beckoning Beast, this deck can do way more than the Yugioh. Then we got Pearly. I think Pearly is pretty much maybe around here, maybe at the same power level as Unchained, maybe around here. Don't really know if it has a good matchup against the Melodious cards, but yeah. Then we got Rescue Ace. I think Rescue Ace is good. It plays the Snake Eyes engine, so it at least is a little bit good, but it has to play too many bricks, and actually I didn't see anyone playing this in the last 2 months, so I guess it's at least viable, but it's not the best. Then we got Centurion. I'd probably put this also around here. It's definitely a good deck, but it cannot compete with like Snake Eyes or whatever. Then we got Kashtira. This is the first tier 1 deck. I guess this is the better shifter deck. It is really good against hand traps, so I think it deserves this place here. Then we got Fire King, Snake Eye. This is pretty much the worse Snake Eye deck, but it's still really good. Then we got Tempai. I don't know if it's like, that's maybe slightly worse than Snake Eye Fire King. Then we got Voices Voice. I'd probably put this above the Tenpai Dragons, but yeah, it's really hard to say if it's better. Maybe it's also like this. But then we got the Labyrinth deck. Labyrinth is, last wise, yes, it got 2nd place, and I do think this is a really good deck and you shouldn't sleep on it, but it's not better than Snake Eye or Tenpai. Maybe it's like it has a good matchup against Tenpai, but yeah, I think it's good like that. Branded is maybe around here. It definitely has a good matchup against Fire King. It definitely has a good matchup against Tenpai. Maybe not, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I mean, if you get the puppet lock through, then you're pretty much winning the game. If you do not get it through, then you're probably losing the game. So it's really, yeah, it's 50-50. Then we got Snake Eye. We don't have to talk about it. This is just the best deck. You probably know it already. If you're playing like the Jet Synchron version, you're just going into the Sparta Omega and then hand loop for 2 and have an monster negate. And if you're playing like the Xyz version with Snake Eye Diabell Star, then you're just going into Hope Harbinger or maybe the Galaxy Photon Lord. This deck can have so many interruptions, so consistent, does play so many non-engine cards that it is definitely the best deck of the format. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And if you think that this is wrong, then maybe you want to comment your opinion, which deck I put in the wrong category. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, and have a nice day.